Hey, what's up, guys? John here. I'm going to say what's up in the chat. I'm going to show you guys some really just huge news that is going to be coming down on all of us very, very soon. I think it's going to greatly impact our way of life, the economy, how we invest money. Basically, every aspect of our life is about to change in a huge, huge way. I'm going to say what's up in the chat and screen share this. So, this is what is happening. They're saying that they're confident that this is all going to work out for them, right? And so you look at this date here, which is today, 9:45 a.m. 9:45 a.m. And they said they're asked about the inability to withstand the legal challenges, right? And then she said that they essentially believe that it's going to be completely fine, and that this is going to be implemented, right? So they're saying it's going to be implemented. And when we're looking at what is happening here, the same day they said that they blocked it, right? So it's not going to be implemented, but they're saying that it's going to be. But then this bombshell came out. This, I think, is so huge because what is going to happen is there's going to be less and less people that are going to move forward and go with the next one and the next one, right? And so the big question I ask myself is what will happen to they're quoting, by the way, that 60% of Americans have so far stepped up, right? Or in their eyes stepped up. So 60%. So what I wonder is if this becomes the thing and they are going to be changing this definition, right? What is going to happen to all of the businesses, all of the employees, all of the entrepreneurs, all of the people that are, willing to go so far, but they're not willing to take the next step and the next step and the next step. And that's kind of what it seems like right now, because what they're saying, he goes on right here and says that, let's see here. He says, certainly, when you talk about the optimal I don't think anyone would argue that optimal, right, is the third one. So that's the target here, the third one, right? Well, they're already ready for the fourth one right here, right? Or they're getting ready for it, right? And so if this is where we're headed, and by the way, you look at the timestamps of this is when it first came out, the statement. Right here. This is at 12:13 p.m. today, 12:13 p.m. And this statement came out at 9:45, right? So about 2.5 hours later, they said, yes, this is going to be fine. They'll be confident in this. And then they said that this is going to happen, 12:13, right? He said it's a matter of when, not if. And again, this is the exact same headline as this, right? So what I'm wondering is, what does America look like now at 60%? If that data is correct, if that number is correct, 60%. If they change it, will it go to 58%? Will it go to 50%? 45%? And then if they change it again, it's only going to become less and less people that are qualified inside of that group to partake in maybe commerce, right? This is huge. This is so big, and it's getting very little attention. It's kind of scary, to be honest. It's pretty frightening. I'm in New York City right now. In New York, the weather is absolutely, look at this. The weather is absolutely freezing. 39 degrees and raining. 39 degrees and raining. And the only way that I can go in to eat or even support a local business is if I do X, Y, and Z, right? Which that's not me, right? So I'm not going to, when I say that's not me, I'm just not going to support anything like that. So even if I did or did not, I'm never going to share that with anyone. I don't think any of you guys should share that with anyone either. That's your own decision that you've made. You should keep it to yourself. And that's my opinion. And the same thing is going to be true here in New York. Now, for me to even support a local business, the only option is for me to Uber Eats and basically have something delivered, which is what I'm going to do. But it's an important trip for me here because I want to experience New York before all of these massive changes. Look at these changes. You guys have all heard about this, right? And so Bill de Blasio, they say that, he was dealt a blow today, right? But they have a court hearing on the 14th, right? And we'll see what happens there. But that's not even a week away. Not even a week away. But if it does happen, then 2 weeks later, this is what happens to that city. That's why I'm here. I want to experience this. They're saying that on October 20th, right? Let's see where it is, right? 184,000. On Monday, de Blasio announced this for private sector workers, 184,000 private businesses. You're not even going to be able to live in this city unless you are on that page. The mayor also announced major expansions, the Key to New York program, which involves getting as many residents as possible to the city so they can return, right? The expansion also obliges 5 to 11-year-olds to do this as well, right? And so we're looking at this, and it is so unbelievable. It is really crazy. I told my friends this is where things were going 6 months ago, 8 months, 9 months ago. Thought it was crazy. Here we are. Here it is. In a statement Monday, de Blasio said New York will not give a single inch. Not a single inch. $100 incentives, right? So some of the big things that I want to know, looking at it from the business side of things, is if this info is right? So they're saying 60%. And let's say that they change it, right? We'll just call it a flat 50-50. 50% say, okay, they're fine with, eating outside and doing Grubhub and Uber Eats and stuff like that. Okay. And they're fine just cooking at home. Maybe that works for them, right? But the other 50% that are willing to go out there, what's ultimately going to happen is that these businesses, their revenue is going to go way, way, way down. And the cost of products is only going up. Inflation is out of control. Everything is so expensive. So they're going to have higher costs and they're going to have less customers. That's a recipe for bankruptcy for a lot of small business. It's a recipe for increased crime. It's a recipe for smash and grabs. It's going to be a recipe for a whole new lifestyle that people are going to be making in areas that are densely populated and expensive, like San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, all across the board, right? I'm trying to see the other side of it, but it's all of this is happening right now, and it looks like it's heading full steam, just like a train straight ahead. And when we see how fast this is progressing, what I wonder is, what does America look like in 6 months or 12 months under this new plan? Because what happens if this changes, right? If this does change, he said it's not a matter, like it's definitely going to, it's definitely going to. And so if that does change, how many people are going to say, okay, let's do number 4? Or, what number does it end, right? And that's the big question. I think ultimately there's going to be a certain limit that almost everybody taps out at. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 2, maybe it's 0, maybe it's 5, who knows what it is, right? That's between you and yourself and whoever else you advise your attention or those decisions to, right? It's not here. It's not on this channel. I don't talk about those things. I'm talking about strictly the financial aspect of what this is going to do to the U.S. economy. What is this going to do to the U.S. economy? I believe it's going to build out the greatest wealth transfer that we've ever seen. As we start to see businesses with margins getting just destroyed when they lose half of their customers. And how do rents maintain themselves, right? We look at that. We look at the whole decarbonization plan that's all happening within the next 6 months to 24 months, depending on where you live. New York, they have a whole new plan right now to where they are going to get all buildings, unless you have a large percentage of your units designed exclusively for affordable housing, that you have to get all new electricity. So the costs are going to go through the roof in New York and other places. So this is where we're looking at it. We're having less customers, harder times for small business, and much greater expenses for developers to hold on to their properties. Revenues are going to be falling. Wages will likely be falling because small businesses are going to be struggling to please both sides. And if rents fall and incomes fall in these buildings, what we're going to obviously have is a situation where rents need to be reset to an appropriate level. And when that happens, you look at mom and pop landlords, you look at the actual people that own this real estate, they own it on maybe a 5 cap or a 7 cap. They have small margins on these deals. If revenues fall dramatically inside of those buildings are only worth what they're worth to the person putting a business there. So if the revenue's fallen by 50%, the rents need to be appropriately falling as well. They need to appropriately come down to meet a price in which it makes sense for a business to occupy that space. So all of this is happening right now, the next couple weeks. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing all this happening in the next couple weeks. But just seeing how fast this is going, like that they're already going for this one, right? It's crazy to me how fast this is all happening. And I think what we're going to see here, though, is we are definitely going to see change. There's no doubt about that. That's why I personally think the best thing that anyone could be doing right now is paying attention to these changes that are happening every day. Because over the next 30 and 60 days, I think the information that we're going to get delivered to us is going to be information that we can use to make smart financial decisions going forward, because we can't look at the past and make smart decisions based on the past, because everything's getting rewritten right now. Every day, things are getting rewritten. But I think there's going to be a huge wave of opportunity for people to invest and to make money and protect themselves and their family going forward if you're aware of what's happening. But the rule book is getting rewritten right now through Biden and through this whole administration. I'm going to read some of the comments here, and then we'll have a talk about it. And then I'm going to go grab some food. Let's see here. The new economy is about, let's see. It's so funny because I read these comments and then I realize how much everybody's on that page. They order all this. Odds of getting it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's Gotham is dead. New York, I think, is stepping into some of the hardest times that New York has ever stepped into. We've seen some tough times in the past. In the 80s and 90s, tough times, right? This is going to be completely different, a completely different type of challenge. Because even if you are fully 100% yes, let's go ahead, let's do this, you're still going to be in big trouble. And even if you say no, I'm not going to do this, you're still in big trouble, because the economy is only set by the market. And if the market is divided 50-50, the market does not stand. Yep. Yeah, I agree with, yeah. So if he has any good news, John, yeah, I just did a good news video, I don't know, an hour ago, talking about Saul Amarova, who got canceled, or who's stepped down, who wanted to completely change the banking system. So that was pretty good news. Yeah. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Hit the notification bell, join the next live stream, and I'll update you guys. I'm in New York, so if you guys are in New York, I'll probably post something on my community tab. Maybe we can do a meetup and have a cup of coffee or something. All right, guys.